Hi kids. So it's going to take me a few minutes to get my words out because I'm not really here as much as I know what this video is going to consist of, and I'm just quite distressed myself. It has been for the longest time, so you're going to have to forgive me while I slow down to the pace of sense. Right now where I find myself is no real different from any other day. It's just I've been doing this for too long, and it's just been the same repetition for the longest time. But where it's a bit different is the experience learned. I know the walls that lie down each path. If I go this way or that way as a result of this discomfort, the dead ends. And if you've been watching any of my live streams of late, you realise that I'm going through a change because of experience. In other words, due to life, I've learnt no matter how hard it gets, it's to carry on. And where it's to carry on, you've also got to be a bit practical in that decision making. You don't just go down the same routes. You look for new avenues, and this is a new avenue. So what I've just been through in the past, well, it's not even the past days, it's just always. But it's almost like I've got this force holding me and trapping me in this place of rage. I've been told before my baseline emotion is that of rage. And in this place, I don't move. I don't do a thing. Ever since I was a teenager, I freeze. I can't do a thing. I lie down. That's the best thing for me. Unfortunately, I'm also alive. And I'm of this world. I have stresses. I have concerns. I have problems. I have a lot of water in the back room coming up to the level of the floorboards that needs to be pumped out due to a flood a few weeks ago. And my health has been preventing me. I also know that my problems become worse if I don't get up and become active, because the merry-go-round of my daily routine activities is just such that I need to be active. I appreciate it must be difficult for a lot of people to comprehend a life where rest isn't really available in the surface, at least when I live here with all the luxuries of the West. I've been smoking tobacco for the past few months, for the first time in my life, really. I've always been very anti-tobacco, but I'm using it in a conscious way. for health, not just to look cool. And I've just run out, so I'm rolling some hemp, CBD hemp that I haven't been smoking for a while. Ultimately, ignore what I've just said. It's just another hard day for Andreas. This hard day is probably an 8.5, a 9 on the Richter scale in terms of internal emotions that have been brought to the surface and I'm having to deal with. In the past, I would have picked up the live stream and then complained. I can't do that anymore because it's a dead end. I've learnt, I've grown, I've experienced, I've lived. And in this avenue, in this pursuit, I'm raising myself to new limits of what I never have imagined of being human. I won't go into the details as to why. They're personal. But they're not that personal, I just can't bother to express them. And ultimately, the purpose of this live stream is the same. It's to help me out of my torment. But as I said, instead of complaining, what I'm doing now is getting straight to it. I'm at work. I have to be at work. That's the decision life has said to me. Right, Andreas, the way forward is work mentality. A mentality where you leave yourself behind and you fight for a greater cause. So regardless what roams around in this empty rock between my ears and tells me you've been wronged by this person, you've been wronged by that person, you've been wronged by the other person, I need to change my habitual reaction to that. To that way of dealing with my problems. In other words, when people are mean to me, I act very naturally, you'd say almost like a child. I have no problem being called a child. And I react emotionally. I don't speak to them, I just distance myself. A practical child, because a child can respond in anger, emotion, or feel the emotion and think practically and say, well, this person's just a fucking whatever. I need to distance myself from their whatever it is within them that has separated them from their humanity and is willing to instigate this level of pain and suffering on me when I'm just trying to be a good person. I appreciate it doesn't always look like that, but that's all I try and be. So I don't have the best ability to communicate. I don't have a mindset to see why I should save that person when they've just been a effing whatever. And I just leave it alone. I go my own way. I've been like that for many years. Now it's a different mindset. I've realised we're all a bit effed that way. In fact, we're not all a bit effed that way. We're very much a humongous fucking amount effed that way. And well, I've ridden out that train before, as far as I could get, and I got to the end of the tracks. At the end of the tracks, in that place of space, because you've been going down the same route and you're just trying to be a good person, and you realise, well, actually this isn't really working. I know I'm not doing anything wrong. I know what I'm doing in the application is correct, but it seems to be bigger than the problem seems to be bigger than what I could have ever imagined. And that question sort of opens up space. You're going down the same track, but when you get to the end, you get space because you realise there's no way forward. And questions are asked of you. And I've realised that we're all very much beyond my wildest recognitions effed that way. And I've looked at the options and there aren't really any. There aren't really any. It's really hard smoking the hemp at the moment because the taste of the hemp is a very mellowing taste. That's the effect of hemp. It calms you down. But I'm so much in rage at the moment, my blood's boiling so much. It's very, very difficult to smoke. So in that place of space, I've looked at myself, I've looked at my life. It wasn't too difficult to realise what was needed. But what's needed is for me to stand up, for me to forget myself, because as a human being, what it means to be human, innocence, nature, is there's no way back. And I'm sure a lot of many other people are in the same boat and they hide it for reasons I can't comprehend. So in this place, I sort of have to leave my innocence behind, leave my humanity behind to find humanity in a way. It's the weirdest fucking contradiction. And instead of picking up the phone and making a live stream about my problems and not really going beyond them, because that helps in the first instance. And please forgive me, I just always put context. And to do the context, I just say where I am. So please don't look at this like a complaint as much as my tone of voice is like I want to kill somebody. I appreciate that. My left arm is the culprit right now, and it's just weird. The weird games that my mental health plays on top of my physical health is just incomprehensible. It's like I've been suffering with my left arm for the longest time, and it's in a lot of pain. And when you're in pain, you become weak. And for whatever reason, my mental health is making my arm move like, an Indian guru, very, I can't describe it. It's just, I'm aware of movement and energy, and I see how people move and how at least one guru that I'm aware of moves. And there's no problem with that. I've moved like that many times myself. But it's trying to get me to have a problem with Indians and movement, the way they move, because I'm in pain. And because I'm in so much in pain, I've gone past my normal threshold. I don't know if this makes sense. See, it's almost like a numbness to the pain, but I'm aware I'm still in pain. And it's getting me to move like this. And obviously I'm getting frustrated because I'm in pain. But in the first instance, you see the movement. So it's like moving like a Indian guru. And it's trying to get me to have a problem with Indian gurus instead of the fucking agony in my arm. Really malicious, whoever's running my mental health at the moment. But it's no different. And this brings us onto the title of the video. It's no different because this is the nature of my mental health. This is the nature of the collective psychosis. And the nature is fighting, conflict, supremacy. It's a constant repeating narrative to whatever story my mental health tries to inflict on my life. That's the underlying tone. And well, I've always been the way of peace, and it's easy for me to see because there's no rest when the story is always about fighting. So what I'm doing now in the moment, it's taken me 20 minutes to get to this point, is taking all of that energy that I normally give to just whatever they look like, live streams when I'm complaining, and giving it to something hopefully a bit more practical. And in that place of practicality, I'm taking on board what my mental health was trying to inflict upon me today. and that is fighting again. It was trying to get me to think about Egyptians, and it was trying to get me to think about Indians, and it was trying to get me to think about Red Indians, and it was trying to get me to think about Jews. I'm like, and it's really forceful, and because I'm in pain, it can instigate feelings that replicate anger, and it's very controlling. So you really have to be on the ball with it. But it just got me thinking, and as I said, the narrative is always about fighting. So whatever I do, I just try and avoid fighting. And I looked at it, and I'm like, that I don't know people's minds, I don't know other cultures, I don't know anybody beyond myself, really. But you start looking at the picture that your mental health is putting in front of you, and you realise that, well, Earth is a big place, Earth is a ancient place, and within all of that, you get people who, rightly so, feel deserved to an aspect of, how would you call it? I mean, in essence, all it is a label. But in reality, labels sometimes have application. And when we're talking about Jews, when we're talking about Indians, when I say Indians, I mean Indians, Red Indians, and also the normal Indians, well, not Normans, but India Indians. And then you have Aboriginals, and then you have native tribes. And it's all about claim. It's all about, we are the first, we are the biggest, we are the strongest, we are the this, we are that. And that's why fighting continues, doesn't it? Why would anyone fight for any reason if no one was the biggest, no one was the strongest, no one was the first, no one was the most insane? Why would anybody fight? And that's what it is. We're all human. And we just forgot it. We've had so many wars, and really after the first war, we're all separate. And we have to see out war to the maximum to eradicate the trauma and heal the consciousness of whatever it was that led us to that first insanity. Because we made war exist. And that's what I say about ego. Because why do people go to war? Because they're the strongest, they're the cleverest, they're the fastest, they're this, they're that. This bit of land means this bit of land means that. It's all ego. And egos are the forgetting of our humanness. We think we're becoming more than human. We think we're becoming godlike. But, you know, I've not studied the, is it etymology? The origination of where words were created. I've not studied for God, but I wouldn't be surprised if it has a place in insanity. Why would anybody want to become a god? You have everything you need for eternal bliss as a human, and you want to become more? Of course you can become more, but you get away from eternal bliss. Are you correct in your head? Sorry if there's a bit of a warlike tone to my voice. What it is, it's the fucking agony my body's in, and me exerting myself to the insanity of my life that others would claim is depression. So I can function for no more than that. And to function, I have to be there for all of you. That's why I introduced this video as Hi Kids. Because that's what a child does, isn't it? They annoy their parents every which way because this world says abundance. This life teaches nothing. Not this world. It doesn't teach anything. You go to school, everything you're taught, except for possibly mathematics, and really even that is a load of bollocks, is worthless. So we're mindless people living in a world that promises abundance. You have no real concept of the monetary system as a child and what it takes to live in this world as an adult. And you pest of love in yourself, because that's all it is. You're trained they might be in a place of ignorance themselves. And in that place of ignorance, they can't the world like them. Why you can't be compassionate to their suffering. Why you at the age of 7, 8, when that's their life, that's their suffering as a result of trying to provide for you.